Greetings, friends and followers. This is Amir sending love from Binyamina to you out there in Cyberland, and I want to share with you something about lifestyles and adventures. This podcast is indeed called Lifestyles and Adventures, and I initially named it as such because travel in Israel is exciting and sexy and fun, and pilgrimage and the Holy Land and all those great things that I enable my guests to achieve and to fulfill when we are trekking around this place. But there's something that's intimate when it comes to the relationship between host and guest and pilgrim and Holy Land, as well as between Hebrew and Shebrews. Our faith, our Jewish tradition, is something that unto itself is indeed a lifestyle and an adventure. And so I want to share with you a little bit about my mourning this morning, because I am in a strange place. There's a dissonance between my happy-go-lucky nature and the fact that I'm currently in a period of mourning. I am mourning my dear brother who I lost this year, and being an identical twin adds an even deeper layer of complexity to that dynamic. But the mourning tradition, which is tragically omnipresent across Israel at the moment as we are licking our wounds and mourning our sons and daughters, our children and our elders that were cut down and taken away from us this past weeks, I was ready. I was not ready for the attack that came upon Israel, but I was ready for the mourning process that I had already been immersed in. And so I wrapped my tefillin this morning, and I wrapped the straps across my arms and in between my eyes, and I read my morning prayers, and I finished them off with the Mourner's Kaddish, the prayer for my brother, my responsibility from the world of the living to him in the realm of death. It's not easy, and I have a mixed bag of a relationship with my Jewish faith and customs and traditions, but I'm rather appreciative of the fact that I have the resources available to me in order to allow my soul to mourn properly. The 7 days, the 30 days, the 11 months, there is an order of operation that takes place when mourning is our responsibility, and I am taking that to heart. I am trying my best to elevate and honor my prayers in order that my brother's soul may pass into the kingdom of heaven. And so here we are, struggling down on earth with life while the dead are at peace, hopefully. There's a certain cruel dichotomy there that we cling and clamor and say Lchayim and hope for life and pray for life and make babies in order that life can spring into the generations ahead. And yet we have a fear of death. It's appropriate. It's sensible that we would be afraid of death, but at the same time, there's peace and calm in the next world that we do not get to appreciate here in this life. And so I was able to wrap my tefillin this morning, and I was able to pick up a siddur, a prayer book, a Jewish prayer book that belonged to my mother and her mother before her, and my great-grandmother Grace of blessed memory before her. It was a prayer book that I found when I was picking through random boxes of trinkets and family heirlooms when I was last in the States visiting, and I saw this old siddur, and I saw my great-grandmother and grandmother and mother and myself, 4 generations, having a relationship to each other and to this one little book. My family is not religious whatsoever, and I've become more involved and engaged with my community and my Jewish lifestyle and adventure, but it's more of a recent phenomenon. I have to struggle. To be a Jew is to struggle. Lifestyle and adventures are struggles. And the character and the dynamic energy that comes out of building character and struggling through adversity is part of what it means to be an Israelite. We know the struggle of 40 years wandering in the desert, hungry and cold at night and hot during the day. It was a struggle, and I was there. And I saw the miracle of Moshe parting the Red Sea, and I looked in awe and walked through the waters to salvation. I feel the whip of Pharaoh's cruelty, the beatings and the brutality from Nazi death camps, the death marches thereafter. I know the burdens of what it means to be a Jew because I embody each and every one of these tragedies as well as the glories. We have to wrestle with that juxtapose. It is a contrast, and it is the context of what it means to be a Hebrew in 2023, because right now we are licking our wounds once again and trying to clamor for that life force that makes this country of Israel so wonderful. We lost it a little bit. We lost our babies, and we lost our daughters and sons and grandparents. They were stolen from us by monsters. And yet our life force is tremendous. The vibration of Lchayim coming from Am Yisrael at the moment is simply outstanding. It's hurting, it's crying, it's mourning. But the fact that a place like Chavat Ruth, where I have gone for many weddings and many celebrations and been a part of many simchas, is now a place that has been converted into an ashram of healing for the victims of the Nova Party. Those poor children who were lucky enough to survive, but now struggle with survivor's guilt. Their friends are dead. So many are lost. And yet, the life must continue. And we must ask ourselves, in this adventure and lifestyle world of the living, how will we live? I choose to live as a Jew. I choose to pick up that 100-year-old Siddur that was lying in a box for probably the last 20 years and use it, because we are an active people. We are active in mourning, we are active as we sway back and forth in our prayers, and we are active in lifestyle to build and create and explore. Lifestyle and adventures are part of the ethos of our peoplehood. Am Yisrael Chai, to live. We are alive, and that is a miracle. John Adams said once upon a time that the Jewish people are still around 3,000 years later is indeed a miracle. And that miracle needs space to breathe and to blossom here in the land of Israel. To the dismay of my enemies, we are here and we are alive and we are growing. I thought about the fact that my heart yearned for revenge, and the anger that burned inside of me towards the jihadi psychos who killed our babies was one of vengeance. And right now, as Israel waits on the edge of Gaza and into the abyss of the unknown what will be with this war to come, I am trying my best to temper my vengeance. The Jews after the Holocaust did not go slaughtering Germans by the millions. That would have been the course of vengeance, and it would have led us nowhere. Instead, we pivoted and we buried our babies, if we were lucky enough to do so, because most of them had been turned to ashes. And we pivoted and we looked up and we wailed and wept and tore our shirts and cried for mourning and made babies and built homes and fought battles and grew. The growth and the life force rippling through Am Yisrael is something that is cosmic. I share kinship with strangers in ways that I could not do with members of other tribes, and for that I am grateful. This morning I had breath in my lungs, and for that I am grateful. I could meditate and wrap tefillin and get to work and eat some bread that my beautiful wife has baked and try to make sense of this madness that is the life that we are forced to live, and we get to choose how we will do so. I want to choose life with dignity, with honor, with adventures, with respect, with strength, and with a little bit of tenderness as well. This is the dynamic nature of the Jewish people, and this is the human experience to all nations, that we can hopefully use the lessons and the wisdom of our elders, passed down through a Siddur from mother to son, that I can pass on to my little girl, the 5th generation of one book that has united us to our past, which binds us to our laws, and which elevates our prayers to the heavens. I am grateful for the gifts of the Hebrew nation, and I am grateful to be alive. Lchayim, to life, to my people, to our relationships with our cousins, to a better day on the horizon. For this I pray.